Welcome to Recipe Wars. My name is BC Hoffman, and today we're taking on the Spanish Tortilla.
And my name is Lalita Lopantry, and I'm doing Martha Stewart's version of the Spanish Tortilla.
I'm going to show you how to use the spring vidalias in a tortilla, the Spanish version of a baked omelette.
And I am Judith Jones, and I'll be doing José Andrés' version of the tortilla española.
Con el huevo, rompiéndolo, en este caso cascándolo, en otro plato. ¿Por qué? Porque en ningún momento queremos que nos entre ningún pedacito de la cáscara en contacto directo con el huevo.
My name is BC Hoffman, and I will be taking on Marco Pierre White's version of the Spanish Tortilla.
My favorite things to eat is a tortilla or a Spanish omelette. Basically all it is potatoes, onions and eggs.
Today we are doing 3 different recipes, and each one calls for a different technique for the most part. Yours is going straight into the oven, right?
Right, mine is being baked, and Martha Stewart in the video mentions that it's also in Italian known as a frittata. So in Martha Stewart's recipe, she parboils her Yukon Gold potatoes, just because that you don't want, as your frittata or your, tortilla is cooking, you want the potatoes and the eggs to cook at about the same time and not something underdone or overdone.
And I'm doing a pretty innovative recipe by José Andrés, the only Spanish contender in the Recipe Wars, I have to say. So I have a good chance of winning, I believe. But we're doing something a little bit different. José Andrés uses potato chips, and the ones that he likes using are the Route 11 potato chips, which are lighter and crispier and a little less salty, because he does mention that if you use a different kind of potato chips, they can be covered in salt and make the tortilla inedible. So good job with that. So very, very easy. So I think first I am going to put my eggs in a bowl. Now, this recipe calls for 7 eggs, but he only whisks 6 eggs at the beginning. And there's a reason why. So what he says is that don't over whisk the eggs, you just want to break up the yolk, and that will give a nice lighter tortilla. So that should do it, really.
I think all of our recipes call for just a light beating on the eggs.
Just a light beating, yeah. And now I'm gonna add in these potato chips. So in they go, and we just want to break them up ever so slightly.
Marco's recipe actually calls for no seasoning to the potatoes or onions, strictly seasoning the eggs. So I'm gonna, right now, while I have those that I partially beat, I'm gonna throw in my pepper, and I'm a big fan of spice. I would also, if I had the option, I would use tapatio as my spice option when I'm beating these eggs, or any other hot sauce. I'm gonna put a little extra pepper, and I'm gonna put about 2 liberal pinches of salt there. Give that a quick
I'm not
beat.
going to season mine because obviously the potato chips have a lot of salt already, but we are going to try it in the oil before we cook it. So now that the chips are in with the eggs, we're going to let that absorb for about 5 minutes, and then I'll let you know what we do with this lovely little egg after.
So I already added my leeks to my potato mixture, and I didn't want to add the leeks in the beginning because they would just overcook and just start to burn. And I've already whisked my egg yolks gently, and I'm just going to pour that in.
That looks great.
I just want to make sure that in the video Martha Stewart, she swirls her pan a little bit just to make sure the eggs get completely distributed all throughout the sides of the pan.
So we'll let those absorb, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to heat up the oil. Now I'm only going to use half of this oil because the other half might be needed when we flip and put it back in the pan. So in it goes, half of that. And we're going to put it to a medium-high heat. And again, we want the oil to get nice and hot before we put our eggs in. And I'll be honest, BC, I like my tortilla a little bit juicy. I liked it soft. I don't like those eggs overcooked. And that's the one thing, though, when you put it in the oven, sometimes there's a danger of overcooking the egg, so it becomes a little bit stiff and a little bit. So José Andrés also likes his pretty juicy, and that's why he gets that last egg, and he whips it up, and he puts it in right at the end. And this just makes the tortilla a little bit more moist, more juicy. And at the last minute, he'll put it in there, give it one stir, and then it goes in the pan.
And so right now I just want to get the bottom just to set a little bit before I put it in the oven, just so it has that foundation. And then it's basically just going to finish on top and get that nice golden color. So I've pretty much set a foundation on mine, and I'm going to put it in my preheated oven.
So now it's time to put it in there as it goes. Watch if it splatters.
I'm ready to go, so I'm gonna throw in my potatoes. Stand back, stand back. Boom. In the potatoes go, and in the onions go. This is gonna be crazy, crazy I say.
So mine had come out of the oven. I actually left in there for about 8 minutes. I topped mine off with a little bit of chives. And to my luck, it should slide right out onto my plate, depending on how brown you prefer your tortilla.
And I'm gonna plate up mine too. So we cooked it on the other side for about another minute or so. So now it's time to plate up. Again, another inversion, quick flip, and hopefully,
That's
ooh,
beautiful.
That looks beautiful.
Grab your slotted spoon, and you're just gonna scoop them right out and put them right into your eggs. Yeah, and turn the heat off too, because that's a good key. So you're gonna drain off that excess oil right there and throw them right in. So this is almost ready to flip. And again, worst case scenario, I can see the color on the bottom and it's starting to get that brown effect. I lowered the flame because the higher the flame, the more likely it's going to burn.
Should we have a drum roll?
Roll, please, and flippity-doo.
Yeah.
And there you have it, and then throw it right back on there. Welcome back to Recipe Wars. We have just plated up our wonderful and amazing Spanish tortillas, and we are about to dig in to discover who is the winner of this recipe war. Ladies, which one should we start off with?
Let's start with mine.
Yeah.
Alrighty,
Yeah,
let's
sure.
do it.
All right.
Let's move this out the way.
Well, it certainly looks good. Let's give it that.
And I
And
think,
that's about it.
I think the reason why mine didn't take so long was because there was so much potatoes and onions in
Right.
there, and the eggs just took very little time to cook.
So the outside layer, it's got a nice crust, and at the same time, it's got a good body.
Good color.
And,
And I love the addition of the leeks. I think it gives it a really good
It's not overly oniony.
right.
yeah.
There's something, I don't know, I feel like there's something kind of missing there, but it tastes pretty good.
It's simple.
It's
really
simple.
It's seasoned just right, though. I will
Seasoned
say
right,
that.
yes.
There's not too much salt, not too
Thank
much
you.
pepper. The seasoning's great. The addition of our chives on there is really nice
Yeah.
too.
One?
I'm excited about this one. I've
Yeah,
never.
let's see.
Yeah.
You go for it.
A little potato chip action.
You can taste the crispiness of the potato chips. I like that.
There's definitely like a different texture in there because of the chips.
Different
The
texture.
is, yeah, totally different.
I
I
love
would
the
never guess.
texture,
Yeah.
but as far as the flavor goes, not really impressed with it.
You know what? I am actually missing the onions. I like onions in my
Yeah.
Spanish
Yeah.
tortilla, and it just feels like it's missing that. But
Yeah.
you know, simple enough to do, easy ingredients. If that's all you got in your cupboard, it's a pretty good one.
Or vegetables, granules maybe.
Exactly.
All right,
Because you don't need that extra sodium in there. Let's go in.
dig in.
Wow. Wow. Just so much flavor in there because he just fully submerged those onions and potatoes and got a nice fry to
I
it.
think this one is the
See,
winner.
this for me is this is a tortilla española.
Yeah, this is,
The onions, the potatoes, really good taste. Classic.
Yeah.
yeah. The flavor's perfect. It's nice and fluffy. It's
moist, too.
Yeah.
It's moist, yeah. I hate to admit it, PC, but I think you
so.
might be the winner. Yeah.
That's right, give it up. Mark and Pierre White's Spanish Tortilla was the winner right here. This has been Recipe Wars. I'm BC Hoffman. Please catch us next time on Recipe Wars. Subscribe to our channel, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and we will see you next time.